Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my review and impressions of the 2025 Lincoln Navigator Black Label SUV, a paint coating that lets buildings collect water from the air, and microbes that eat methane. To join the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even suggest a topic for future discussion, you can call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or if email is your thing, reach out to the show directly, talk@thetechmobility.show. Let me say that again. It is talk@techmobility.show. For those of you who enjoy Substack, you can find me at Ken, the letter C, IOWA. I'm a proud member of the Iowa Writers Collective there. Be sure to check it out. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, I want to talk about Slate Auto. And if you missed when we first introduced you to this latest EV truck manufacturer, let me refresh your memory. Slate is being bankrolled by Jeff Bezos, first of all. And their whole premise is a bare bones, low cost EV truck that is highly, and I mean underline, highly customizable to the point where they're not going to paint them. There is no infotainment system. They're expecting you to use your phone for that. And then you can either put it in a wrap or convert it to an SUV or whatever. But the goal is bare bones, low cost, do it yourself. And they were expecting to keep it under $30,000. And that was back when they had the EV credits. With EV credits now, they're going to be closer to 30. I think they were going to be closer to 20 when they launched, but closer to 30 now. And their argument was that we were not dependent on those credits to be viable, so they say. Another way for Slate Auto to keep their costs down is to avoid having to build a parts, service, and dealership network. They're going to go direct to consumer, number one. Unlike Tesla, though, that does have their own shops and do have people that are on the road that will come to you if need be, Slate Auto is challenging the traditional service model by using independent shops for its low-cost EV next year. But analysts warn of a poor customer service experience that could hurt the startup's image and scare off future buyers. As a direct-to-consumer brand without franchise dealers for warranty work, Slate will save money by partnering with local garages through the Repair Pal recommendation platform rather than building its own service infrastructure. Let me say something about that. If you buy a new vehicle, and obviously Slate's going to be completely brand new. They're not buying anything from anybody else. They are building their own platform, their own vehicle, and their own factory. You would be naive to think that there isn't going to be some early hiccups with the first vehicles off the line that do get to consumers. Here's the question. Because these independent shops have never seen one before, even the ones that Slate take through training for like the heavy duty stuff, you know, if they have to actually fool with the motors or the batteries, what kind of experience and how uniform will the experience be shop to shop if you need something done? Here's something a little even more intense. Because these numbers are going to be so low, where's the closest shop going to be? And what happens if you can't get the vehicle to the shop? Will they come to you? Will you have to transport the vehicle to them? A lot of questions here. Like I said earlier, Tesla managed to answer that question by having their own techs on the road and having staging centers around the country. They didn't have dealers per se, but they had a way to get to you to minimize the inconvenience for the things that need to be done. They had folks on the road designed to get to you in your driveway, at your office, wherever, to make it right. Slate's not doing that. The piece in automotive news does not talk about how many nationwide dealers we're talking about through this Repair Pal recommendation platform. Really don't know how they're going to be trained and what the expectations are going to be. And more importantly, what about parts? What about if you actually need a part? Are they going to expect these independent shops to stock a level of parts? And if so, how's that going to be determined? And what happens that even if they've got parts stocked, the part you need is not what they got in stock? Are we talking a day, a week, a month to get it? Meaning that your truck now sits undrivable or compromised at the very least? And we haven't even begun to talk about what happens for crash parts once these things get on the road in numbers and start having accidents for repairs. Because that's a whole nother subject this doesn't even deal with, is body shops. And that's a whole issue for the entire EV industry, because EVs, the batteries, how they're built into the body, all of that's completely different than what they know today about cars and technology, repair, and all the machinery that they've got is designed for internal combustion engine cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs. None of this stuff is designed to repair an EV. The article says, from Slate's standpoint, it's a great idea to mitigate money, not to have to spend millions of dollars to build a network. They said, done right, it could work. Done wrong, it could be a disaster for the brand. I'm one of these that, if I spend my money for your product, I expect you to stand behind your product. And then there are state laws about that, relative to warranty work and what the automaker is obligated to do. And then what happens? All right, let's do devil's advocate here for Slate Auto for a minute. What happens? You get a vehicle, you buy it. Oh, you love it, but you start having trouble. And it's not exactly the batteries, but maybe it's the battery management system, or it's the system that manages everything and the vehicle's not right. You've taken it to your local Repair Pal recommended shop that deals with Slate. They've tried 3 or 4 times. It's still not right. Okay, now what? Does Slate buy it back? Under lemon laws, under certain parameters, they have to. What does that look like? If you got one repair shop you're not happy with, how far away is the next one if you have a falling out? Because let's face it, let's be honest. If you've owned a vehicle or vehicles over a period of time, you've run across a dealer or a shop that you guys just did not get along. They tried to service your vehicle. It was not successful. You were unsatisfied and you wanted to go somewhere else. If you're Chevy, Ford, Stellantis, you can go to another dealer, sometimes across town, let alone next town over. If you're Slate, what do? I don't like my local dealer or my local repair shop, Slate, that you have designated to be my repair shop in this area. I feel they're incompetent or they're not responsive or, they were not able to fix my problem. What's my recourse? Will another repair shop even take it? What's that look like? It could be the best of times. It could be the worst of times. But this does not instill confidence for a brand new brand that somebody's willing to spend. Hey, 20 grand is 20 grand, okay? And if it's my $20,000 that I borrowed and making payments every month, it's still money out my pocket. It may not be 50, 60, 100. It's still hard money. And I want this vehicle to work. And I want to make sure that the people behind it stand behind it 100% and make it right. We'll see when this rolls out next year if their model works or if they end up doing something else. Time will tell. Time will tell. Consumers are very demanding these days. So we'll find out for sure whether or not Slate and their plan with independent shops will cut it. I just don't know. I just don't know. For the last 25 years, the Navigator's been Lincoln Motors' flagship model. My impressions and review are next. You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
The class-exclusive picture-in-mirror technology available in the 2008 Lincoln Navigator allows you to look to a familiar place and see more of the big picture, setting the new 2008 Lincoln Navigator apart once again.
Bear in mind, in 2008, a rear view camera was a rarity, hence why Lincoln chose to brag about it. Now pretty much every vehicle has one, but back then they didn't. And bear in mind also, the Lincoln Navigator had been in the market 10 model years by that time, so they were always looking to be competitive. Launched on July 1st, 1997 as the 1998 model, the Lincoln Navigator SUV is a full-size luxury SUV that counts the Ford Expedition SUV and F-Series pickup truck as mechanical siblings. The Navigator is the heaviest Lincoln that the nameplate has ever produced and the only non-limousine model to offer seating for more than 6 people. In fact, up to 8, depending on the configuration. As a full-size body-on-frame vehicle, the Navigator allowed Ford to compete in the lucrative full-size SUV marketplace with the Cadillac Escalade, Chevy Tahoe Suburban, and GM Yukon XL. Needless to say, the Navigator's staying power in the marketplace is due in part to its status as the make's flagship, as car-based models like the long-running Town Car and Continental faded off the scene. With the arrival of the third-generation Navigator in 2007, Lincoln introduced the Navigator L, an extended version designed to compete with the Cadillac Escalade ESV. The Navigator L added almost 15 inches in length and 12 inches to the wheelbase when compared to the standard model. The 2022 Navigator was the first to receive Lincoln's Black Label treatment. The Black Label experience represents the very best that Lincoln has to offer, with exclusive member benefits and specially curated interiors, creating a personalized experience for clients that they can make their own. Specially curated Black Label themes are designed to evoke an experience that is uniquely Lincoln, using the finest materials such as premium Venetian leathers and designer woods. Designers tend to even the smallest details, from intricate laser-etched wood designs to unique stitching and perforation on the premium leathers, all coming together to bring warmth, comfort, and a true feeling of luxury. The fifth generation of the Lincoln Navigator was unveiled for the 2025 model year, introduced to the motoring public on August 15, 2024. The all-new 2025 Navigator features a bold new design, a reimagined interior, signature features, and new connected experiences that will create the ultimate sanctuary for clients on and off the road. Navigator's new interior combines premium materials with connected features like the Lincoln Digital Experience that comes to life through an immersive 48-inch panoramic display that spans the length of the horizontal instrument panel. Lincoln Rejuvenate is a spa on wheels that automatically adjusts seat position with heat and massage options, climate control, scenting, sound, and lighting, and expansive visuals to reduce stress and create a relaxing experience inside the vehicle. The 2025 model year adds 2 new Lincoln Black Label themes to Navigator, each thoroughly curated and precisely crafted with rich premium materials. And it brings front row comforts to second row passengers. Starting with the class-exclusive Lincoln Splitgate, every inch of the all-new Navigator is a blend of sleek, sophisticated design and modern conveniences. With the Splitgate, the top 3/4 of the gate rises like a traditional liftgate, while the bottom quarter lowers like a conventional tailgate, helping to make it easier to load and unload without items spilling in the driveway, or transforms the space into a convenient seating area for the family. Offered in 3 trim levels, Navigator is propelled by a 3.5-liter EcoBoost gasoline V6 twin turbo that makes 440 horsepower and 510 foot-pounds of torque. Energy is communicated to all 4 wheels via a 10-speed select shift automatic transmission. EPA fuel economy is 15 city, 22 highway. Cargo capacity is 107 cubic feet for Navigator and 121.6 cubic feet for the Navigator L. Towing capacity for both models is 8,700 pounds. Here's what I liked about the Navigator. This should be more like what impressed me about this large Lincoln. And despite its heft, it was the extended wheelbase L and almost 3 tons in weight after all. I found it to be impressively responsive to driver demands, easy to drive with an excellent outward view of the road and surroundings. Everything about this SUV is big, from its expansive 48-inch pillar-to-pillar digital display to its 24-way perfect position driver's seat and 22-way front passenger seat. Second-row passengers enjoy heated seats with a PowerFold 40 pass-through 40 power release and tilt and slide functionality. Third-row passengers enjoy a 40-20-40 PowerFold split bench seat with power recline. This Navigator has plenty of room for everybody in the most luxury of ways. Access to the cargo area is enhanced with the automaker's split gate configuration. Cargo capacity is excellent even with the third row seat in use. Here's what I don't like about the Navigator. Cavernous space and silky smooth performance has a price, and that is abysmal fuel economy, really. Note to Lincoln, hybrid. It's a thought. Hybrid. Consider it, really, hybrid. The Navigator rides on 24-inch tires, meaning that your local tire retailer and maybe even your local Lincoln dealer may not have these in stock. And damaging one of these, not to mention the rim, is going to be an ugly affair. Don't get a flat. To add insult to injury, after all of this, that heavy, large, expensive, full-size spare tire is mounted under the rear of the vehicle. Guess what? Exposed to the elements. You know how I feel about that. A vehicle that weighs almost 3 tons, 6,000 pounds, and I'm going to have a heck of a time getting that very heavy wheel out from underneath that if I need it. And I guess they're assuming that I would just call AAA. Maybe, maybe not. Here's the bottom line. All this luxury, it's going to cost you plenty. And although Navigator is based on the more pedestrian Ford Expedition, don't expect much of a price break if you decide on the Ford instead. It's luxury for a reason, folks. Rare, aspirational, and special. And if these are the qualities that you seek in your next vehicle, and more importantly, if American made is important too, then you should consider the Lincoln Navigator. Made in Louisville, Kentucky, and dressed to the nines, you won't be disappointed. The base manufacturer's suggested retail price for the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV starts from $99,995 for the standard reserve model and up to $122,415 for the Navigator L Black Label. Destination charges add $1,995. And as tested, I drove a Navigator L Black Label with the following optional equipment. Equipment Group 801A, extra cost exterior paint. The total cost of those two options, $4,995. Total MSRP, including options and destination charges for this Lincoln Navigator L Black Label, came to $126,480. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But honest to God, Lincoln does not sell hundreds of thousands of these, but the ones they do, worth a drive. A paint-like coating that lets buildings collect water from the air. Next, this is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. With a little more than a coat of paint, buildings could soon make the air around them cooler and harvest gallons of water directly from the atmosphere. Imagine the possibilities. This is topic B. Water. I have always been fascinated about water my whole life, even as a little kid. To think everything that water does, we're made up mostly of water. It falls from the sky. It evaporates back into the sky. We use it for cleaning, cooking, washing, drying. We use it for cooling, sanitation. We use it for all sorts of things. This very universal and capable liquid we use for everything, whether it be personal or hygienic or manufacturing, anything. Water. Whether it is liquid, whether it comes down to snow, sleet, whether we use it as ice or some sort of frozen or slush. We drink it as slushies. Water. I have reported here before about the scarcity of water. We've talked about modern desalination. We've talked about the crisis in the Colorado River. We've talked about the impact of climate change, making some areas of the country bone dry and other areas of the country prone to flood. In either case, not usual, abnormal behavior. The water's not going where it's needed. I've reported in a previous program that in this global world of over 7 billion people, 2.3 billion people, about a third of the population, does not have regular access to fresh water. They say you can go a while without food. They say you can't go more than about 5 days without water. Can you imagine? The reason why I bring it up is I found this article in Fast Company, and it reports that researchers at the University of Sydney in Australia have created a nano-engineered polymer coating that passively cools building surfaces while enabling them to collect water like dew-coated leaves. It is a material solution that could help combat rising heat and water insecurity in places all over the world. The white coating, a porous paint-like material, reflects up to 97% of sunlight and radiates heat, making surfaces up to 10 degrees cooler than the surrounding air, even under direct sun. Here's the cool part. This cooler condition allows water vapor in the air to condense like dew on the smooth coating surface, where it can be collected. In a small test they did, a roughly 10 square foot area they treated with the coating was able to harvest 1.6 cups of water over the course of a single day. That's almost 2 cups of water. That don't sound like much, does it? But if you don't have any access to any water, imagine what that would do over a broader surface in that time. The lead researcher said they actually co-founded a startup that's going to commercialize this called Dew Point Innovations. And they said, our main goal in designing this new material is to address water scarcity, providing a sustainable and delocalized source of water that is entirely passive. Unlike desalination, unlike other forms, you don't have to do anything. It's all done passively. The key to this is something called solar reflective paint. And while solar reflective paint is hardly new to the world of sustainability, it's been used widely to reduce that gain on everything from buildings to UPS trucks and playgrounds. The new coating they've developed builds on those applications by taking more advantage of the cooler air produced by bouncing heat off a building, creating a surface onto which water vapor can condense in the cooler ambient temperatures. The coating's porous nature makes it more durable than its typical reflective paints, which enables it to better collect dew than other surface coverings that quickly degrade. The cooling and water harvesting potential of the coating could be substantial, according to a study recently published in the Journal of Advanced Functional Materials. The researchers measured the coating's performance in 6 months of outdoor tests on a roof of a building on the campus of the University of Sydney. Specifically designed surfaces and measurement tools track surface temperature and dew water collected on a minute-by-minute basis alongside weather and climate data to better understand when the coating would perform best. The areas most suited to passive cooling effect are areas in which the sky is often clear of clouds, the amount of water in the air is not too high, not too low, in the ideal world about 80% relative humidity, to obtain the highest cooling of the surface and the highest water condensation. And they note that the coatings need to be clearly exposed to the sky to be the most effective. Now, if you use them on the walls of the building, yes, they would still bring some cooling, but not as much as on the roof. The ideal configuration is at a small tilt, a roof angled at about 30 degrees, to enable the roll-off of water droplets. They got this down pretty tight. But here's a point that I want to make that I think is equally important. But even in places where the humidity is too low to harvest much dew, the reflectivity of the coating will still provide the benefit of lower ambient temperatures and reduced energy requirements for buildings. I want to stop right there. I want to bring to your remembrance heat deserts in major cities. Imagine what this paint could do in urban areas, particularly with all that concrete. I had mentioned before that the best thing you could do in a situation like that is plant a tree. Imagine if you plant a tree and apply, where applicable, this coating. If for no other reason than to lower the temperature, which would lower energy demands, improve health, improve quality of life in cities. If this was to be implemented widely, the coating could provide a steady source of water, although a small one. The study found that a 1 square meter section of roof treated with the coating, could harvest up to 300 milliliters of water per day, little more than a cup and a half of water from about 10 square feet of surface. Scaling up to the size of a building, that could add up to several gallons worth of water a day. Now, that may not seem like a lot when the average person in the U.S. uses more than 150 gallons a day, but the volume could easily add up as more buildings are retrofitted, even designed specifically to use the coating. This passive approach to water opens the door to sustainable, low-cost, and decentralized sources of fresh water, a critical need in the face of climate change and growing water scarcity, they said. Just imagine what this could do, particularly now when water is at a premium and the demand is growing and growing fast. Fresh water is the end-all be-all. Still fascinating to me. Fresh water. Who knew? And now we got a way to get it out of the air for little or no cost. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to seeing more. Methane is a dangerous greenhouse gas. These microbes eat methane like a meal. We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Consider this. Microbes that can absorb up to 85% of the methane it's exposed to. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas that is a major factor in the warming of the Earth with grave implications for climate change. A variety of this specific microbe is found at the bottom of a lake in eastern Siberia, and it's at the root of the potential answer. This is Topic C. Can you imagine that sometimes the best solution for a modern problem has already been created in nature? And in this case, it is a microbe that's been around for millions of years that has fine-honed its ability that this is what it does. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So why even care? Let's ask the question. Let's just deal with the question. Why should you care? Let me give you some numbers. Methane, when it is released into the atmosphere, has the ability to trap heat on Earth, making things warmer. When you do that, you start messing with climate, floods, droughts, all sorts of weather patterns go awry. You get snow where you're not supposed to. You get rain where you shouldn't. And where you need the rain, you get nothing. Methane retains its ability to do that for 20 years. 20 years. 20 years. Unlike carbon dioxide, which is another greenhouse gas, but it breaks down quicker and doesn't have as long-term impact. What if you could design something that could literally take methane out of the equation? Whether it's on a dairy farm, whether it's in a landfill, whether it's in a wastewater treatment plant, and a host of other situations where methane is released. These microbes have been evolving 1 million years to do just that. And like I said, methane comes from livestock farms, landfill, wastewater treatment plants, natural gas operations, oil production, rice paddies, wetlands, thawing permafrost, and get this now, even termite mounds. Methane's heat trapping potential is 80 times more powerful than carbon dioxide in the first 20 years after its release. 80 times. Yeah, carbon dioxide is a bad boy, but methane is 80 times worse. I want you to think on that for a minute. If this microbe technology that this company is working on were scaled across energy, waste, and agriculture industries in the United States, it could annually slash up to 1.6 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent, an amount produced by driving more than 370 million gas-powered cars for 1 year. Let me make this relative for you. There are 250 million privately owned vehicles in the United States of America. So they're saying they can remove the amount of carbon dioxide equivalent to 1.5 times the amount of privately owned vehicles in the United States for 1 year. Now, we've reported here about removing these gases from the air and calcifying them and burying them in the ground and stuff. But they were energy intensive, land intensive, and not that effective. They were moving millions of tons when we're putting billions of tons of this stuff in the air every single year. On average, the world puts 40 billion tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere every single year. You can't put 40 billion of anything anywhere and don't think it's going to affect something. These microbes, I'm going to read this again. If these microbes were widely deployed across all these industries, it could remove 1.6 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent per year. People in the know that know this stuff will tell you that it's not enough where we are right now to just stop, if we could, putting things in the air. If we stopped now, right now, this moment, right now, we'd still have a problem. We not only have to reduce it, we have to actually take more out than we're putting in. Being neutral, being carbon dioxide emission neutral ain't enough. Here's a year I want you to remember. We've talked about it before. I want you to remember this particular year I want to give you. The year is 2040. That's 15 years from now. Why is 2040 important? Because that is the year that if we haven't gotten this under control by then, that is the year of no return, where greenhouse gas emissions and the ability to keep the planet from continuing to warm, we lose the ability to get control of it. 2040. With everything we know right now, technology-wise, 2040 is the year. We're already past the Paris Accords, in case you were wondering. And it's serious. Right now, climate change ain't about the coasts. If you live in Tennessee, Kentucky, If you live in other parts of the interior of the United States of America, if you live in Vermont, chances are you have experienced climate change-related flooding that was severe, like something you've never seen in your lifetime. And it's only going to continue to get worse. It is something that is very real, people. This is not make-believe. This is not the tree huggers talking. This is real life happening to real people right now. Your friends, your neighbors, you. This is happening. To have a solution like this that can be applied, that's natural. Natural. These are not synthetically created. That can do this. It's amazing. Another research team at the University of Washington says microbes deployed broadly could capture about 420 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent each year, or what could be generated from nearly driving 98 million gas-powered cars for a year. So even at the conservative side, it's still half of what we're driving. It needs to happen. Methane's a thing. It's dangerous. There's a plan for this. There's a cure for this. And it's working. They've tested it. It's not just in the laboratory. They tested it on a farm. It works. And they're going to roll it out. And maybe just in time for the rest of us.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.